Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a drink, it's time for some part of Exile discussion. Every New Zealand weekday, GGG posts some sort of little update on their website. Most of these are pretty small things like new microtransactions, but today there was a big information dump in the form of an interview that Chris Wilson and Rory Rackham did with Shack News. This is worth watching in its entirety. It's a 26 odd minute video and is quite interesting, but if you want a bit of a summary, I thought I would go through it. There's three main topics of discussion, with the second one, discussion of POE 2, probably having the most interesting information in it, because there's some strong teasers as to when this could end up releasing. The first section talks about ExileCon. This is Chris's reminiscences of the event, as well as some of the challenges that were involved in running a convention of this scale, and the potential for an ExileCon 2. One of the takeaways from this was that there was a potential that ExileCon 2 might have happened too early, if it weren't for the pandemic intervening, and that there is a very real chance now that ExoCon 2 will happen and it will be close to POE 2, but no firm decisions have been made yet. The second section talks about POE 2 and POE Mobile briefly, and this gives us some real information as to when this looks like it's likely to release. So Chris says, there's been a lot of acceleration on Path of Exile 2's progress, and the last 6 months have seen a lot of steps forward. I suspect we'll see great progress over this year, and much of POE 2 finished over next year. Note that he is not saying that he is expecting to see POE 2 in a release state in 2023. Now, a lot of us had been expecting that maybe they were going for quarter 3 2023, quarter 4 2023, but now I'm starting to think that they are currently targeting a release in the first half of 2024. For POE Mobile, their goal is a similar sort of release window. So whilst I don't think that we can take this as absolute confirmation that that's the current goal, I think just reading between the lines, it's pretty likely that they're going for the first half of 2024 now for both products. Maybe with POE Mobile coming out a little bit earlier, we'll have to see on that. The rest of the video talks about the Uber Boss design, with Rory Rackham going into a fair bit of depth on two fights in particular, the Uber Dubrelder and the Uber Eater of Worlds. There's a bit of discussion there about the Dubrelder encounter, which was released back in Bestiary League 3.2, and how the original design that they had in mind for that fight would actually be something they couldn't make work at the time. They kept a lot of this design and actually used it in the Maven fight. So much of the design of the Maven's brain fight was actually something that they were planning to do for 3.2, and then realized, no, we can't make this work, and then came back to it 11 expansions later. However, when they wanted to design something that was an Uber version of the Dubrelder encounter, Uber Dubrelder as a lot of us tend to call it now, they wanted to simply make this a more unforgiving version of the original fight that also had a couple of additional mechanics in it that caused you to have to stop what you're doing and focus immediately on that mechanic. So that's the shape as Bullet Hell. The Uber Eater of Worlds, however, Rory says this is his favourite of the Uber fights and was one that was designed so that the core fight had you reacting to one boss ability at a time, but the Uber version required you to react to multiple abilities at a time. Rory also reiterated a design note that GGG had in mind with these bosses, and that was that they're not designed to feel mandatory, they're more as a way to keep content exciting once your character has been power crept past them. And that was something that they went into all of the designs on these aiming to do. Anyways, that's all I've got on this. I wanted to keep this as a short summary for those of you that didn't have time to watch the whole video. May your Valobs have interesting results.